China Uber Alice is brought to you in part by Sushi Market Sprouts on 7th in Santa Cruz and Kaito in the Capitola Mall Food Court. Treat yourself to the finest Japanese cuisine you'll find anywhere with fresh sushi to go and delicious ramen dinners. Sushi Market Sprouts and Kaito. Yum! Good afternoon, I'm Bill Graff. Welcome to China Uber Alice. I'm here today with my regular guests, Nan Su, a senior reporter from the Epoch Times, and Amy Howe, a survivor of the re-education camps of the Chinese Cultural Revolution under Chairman Mao. We also have with us today one of our regular program contributors and a fellow who organized our guest today. That would be our own Michael Olsen. We have quite a program for you today. We will, as always, in a moment begin with Amy Howe's story of her life under the re-education camps under Chairman Mao and the Cultural Revolution. There's just a bunch of news, a whole bunch of stuff going on regarding the CCP in the world news. And I think you're going to enjoy our program today. I've run into so many people who like our show and appreciate the fact that, you know, we're trying to point out some of the things that the CCP is doing around the world that are detrimental to both the United States and the rest of the world.
Yes, and guess what? I just read one article, opinion article that was published by The Hill today, and the article title says, "Let's tune down the rhetoric on China and try genuine dialogue." And because the article says, you know, the rhetoric on China right now with the bipartisan support is actually kind of a Cold War thinking mentality, and it doesn't help. Now, it really make me thinking, I mean, the author, I don't know, maybe that's I'm not sure if that's an editorial article from The Hill, but I mean, I think the author is living in a different world. I mean, he's out of a reality. I mean, what's the meaning of talking to China? I mean, if talk can solve anything.
Wait, Nan, you'll remember not too long ago when our country got together with China, China told our diplomats to their face they weren't qualified to talk to them.
That's right. So well, see, that's what the China say, but this is the American. The Americans say they still want to talk to China. Why?
Because they're being paid.
I mean, talking will solve anything in the past 20 years, there would be no problem.
They've been bought off. They've been paid.
That's right.
See, why do you think we never do that? Why do you think we never see any of the information that's coming out in underground or minor news sources like us? Why is it never being posted in the legacy media, like the New York Times, the Washington Post? Because they're all owned by the oligarchs who are beholden to the Chinese Communist Party.
You know, I think the only time our show was publicized in some sort of major market media was our own industry media newspaper. You know, when the show came out, we made the front page of that paper because we're so unique. But other than that, you're right. We haven't, no word in the San Francisco Chronicle.
Yeah, they don't say anything.
Yeah,
that's
amazing.
Not nice about
Well,
China.
they occasionally say something that's not nice. I read not too long ago that story about, you know, China telling our American diplomats that, you know, they're not qualified to talk. I don't understand that one at all, but.
Yeah, and plus, you know, we are still trying to find the origin of this coronavirus. You know, are we going to talk to China, ask China where is it from?
Well, that's exactly what we're going to do today, because our guest today is a Chinese person from China who worked in the pharmaceutical industry throughout China, has close contacts with with the facilities and with the procedures used by the CCP and the People's Liberation Army and how they go about doing their business. So we're going to learn a lot about COVID and the next bioweapon virus in the magazine of the CCP.
But first, we have our own story to tell. Actually, I have no story to tell. It would be Amy telling the story because she has firsthand knowledge of what happened, as does Nan, by the way. Firsthand knowledge of what it was like to grow up under Chairman Mao's Cultural Revolution, and I use that term loosely. Anyway, Amy, if you'll tell us your story for today, we'll begin. And as we always know, the story comes back around to what we're talking about currently. But anyway, you're on.
Yeah, okay. And I think being the re-education camp exactly is 5 years. Then after that, in Yunnan province, another 5 years. But lots of people asked me recently, say, did you know anybody escape or wanted to escape from the camp to another country?
Mm-hmm.
So I asked around my friend, because maybe I'm not informed, not to know everything, right? And then I only know one person. Actually happened to be is my neighbor, not in the same apartment complex, but the house they live in behind this complex. And the reason I know I never met the guy. I didn't know he also went same train, ride the same train, and we go to the same camp. And until later, I go back to Shanghai, and my mother told me what's happened to that guy. You know, I think last couple of months ago, I think I told you guys about during this fame after the Great Leap. So the entire China, people were starving, millions of people starving to death. So my mother had to pawn her wedding ring to get $2 of chocolate sent from my aunt from Hong Kong. And so she know that somehow she get familiar with my neighbor, and the guy was own a pawn shop. So just, but she liked to take me to visiting her friend and the families, whatever, but never took me to the pawn shop because she felt it's so disgraced. You know, you had to pawn your precious things, not just the value of the thing, just some great memories from your grandparents or whatever. And so she never took me there. I think I was, one time I played with her jewelry box, found a little ruby cross I like very much. But my mother said, well, when you grow up, I'll give it to you. But now you're going to get lost or something like that. But then eventually I found out that that's gone. So gradually her jewelry box, everything just go to the pawn shop. You know, I know it's got that place. And of course, Cultural Revolution happened. They took everything. So it doesn't matter what you have, right? So I'm talking about the owner of the pawn shop. He has a son, same as my age. We didn't go to the same high school, but somehow end up went to the same train to that camp.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's
the re-education camp.
Re-education camp, yeah. And then 1979, I think I was escaped from Yunnan and stay in Shanghai was a fugitive, right? So my mother told me, she said, did you know that's happened to that boy, the pawn shop's owner's boy? I said, no, I didn't know that. He said, I'll tell you something. And this guy, because he owned a pawn shop, so people got those valuable things like a Rolex. So somehow the red guy and go there and he hide the Rolex, so it didn't go. They didn't took it. So the boy leaving, and he give a boy, said that this maybe is your insurance, your life insurance. So whatever happened to you, you can sell the Rolex. He said everybody knows, even in those prisons, maybe they near Burma, so somebody will buy and give you some money. Right, so you can come home. My father only have a 10 yuan because they took everything out. So when the day I left Shanghai, and he didn't see me away from the train station, but they just handed me that 10 yuan. He was crying so high. He said that's only 1/4 of the the ticket, the price you can buy the ticket. So he said that I maybe never see you again, because if something happened to what I can help you get back, right? So I know it's very sad. And this guy, he got this Rolex. So somehow the story is they have those coyote, people can help you get out of China, because our village is very close to Burma, just cross the mountain, a very high mountain called looks like an old man's face, so we call the old man's head. Yeah. That's the mountain, the name. So sometimes you ever think about escape? Yes, but I just think I wish I'm a bird, I can fly over there, but I look at this mountain, once I get on the top of that, you cross, you go down, it is Burma. But what I'm going to do over there, I don't speak the language, and then you don't know, I know Burma is not like Hong Kong or Taiwan. They all still Chinese, a free world, at least people will help you. You don't know, they were kind of primitive too, So, but I heard somebody told me, say that lots of people in near another side of a border, and they join the Burma and Communist Party guerrilla, just fighting. So lots of the kids that join that, they think that's a way they maybe can become a general. But what happened? Most of people just first battle they die. So I was curious about that, because I think, well, we stay here, we cannot do anything, freedom, maybe that's the only way, and you can. So one time I was hitchhike to another village, and then the people, they live there, they say they from near that border, they say that we can hitchhike to look at how the battles. So I was interested. I said, okay, I'll go. So I go to get there and sitting on the hill and look at. So basically they supported by Chinese Liberation Army. So the Chinese provide the place, if anything, they can retreat to China. So they can cross the border, so being saved. And the first battle was lots of people, bunch of people. It's not the army and trained or anything, just a bunch of kids, and they all get killed. So I said, I'm not going to do that. So I'm a stupid, young and stupid, but not that stupid. So I said, oh, forget about it, I don't want to go. But this boy, somehow, they have a relative in Hong Kong. And then because you can't write to people in Hong Kong, nothing. You cannot just basically cross everything, right? So how do you can get people in Burma or Yangon to meet you there, and then take you to Hong Kong or Taiwan, whatever, right? And or other country. But it's really difficult. But this boy, I don't know, because he think maybe people, he have a Rolex. So he's kind of young, naive. He think the father said that gold Rolex costs lots of money, So he talked to the one of the coyote. He said, oh, I'm going to take you there. And then you cross the border, and then somebody will be there and take you to Yangon. So once you got a Yangon, I will give you some money too. You can go to Hong Kong. So you can find your relative, whatever, So he just wanted to follow that. But what's happening is couple of weeks later, so he was missing. So, people can find him. And then finally, and somebody said they found a body. And it was half all eaten by the wild animals. So that's him.
Wow.
So must be somebody, took the Rolex and killed him. Just throw him in the wild.
Yeah.
So that's...
Wow.
Yeah. Very...
wow.
That's one escapee.
Yeah, I remember during my high school year, actually middle school year, two of our schoolmates trying to escape. So their first destination was they escaped to Vietnam, and then hoping from Vietnam they will go to the, go to the South Vietnam. During that time, it was still under the control of a U.S. Army, right?
What year?
That was 74 or 73.
During the Vietnam
73,
War.
I think. Didn't it fall in 73?
74, I think it's 73.
That's when I was studying Chinese.
You were there. You were in Vietnam. Right.
That was
so we know you.
So that two guys got caught, and they were taken back. And then the whole school, they had an entire school, and a few thousand students all sit down, and then have that two guy standing on the stage, and then there was a bunch of people go there, criticize him in front of the entire school and the teachers and the students and the principals.
Public shaming.
Public shaming. So that was it took the whole afternoon just doing that.
They're lucky that's all that happened.
Yeah.
Could have been worse.
What about after that? No future.
I didn't know what happened after that. But
did they disappear?
No, they did not disappear. Oh. But they had in their file, in China, from the elementary school, there's a file following you wherever you go. All the bad things you did, it's going to be in file for the rest of your life.
Oh boy. Well, that's how it. That's what we've been talking about for all of these months on this program. The fact that the CCP does not operate with its own citizens the way the rest of the world operates. Well, most of the rest of the world operates with its citizens.
Or visitors.
Or visitors, for that matter. Oh, yeah, we found out last week. Try to start a business. Come to our country and start a business, and if it's the wrong business at the wrong time, the wrong way, the next thing you know, you're in a CCP detention center. Wow.
I almost think that China has turned itself into a prison, and it's inhabited by wardens, guards, prisoners, and visitors. And it seems like that's it. And the citizens are free to go about the prison, but they're prisoners.
Yeah. It's
and if you're a foreigner doing business there,
sure,
you're a visitor, but you're still under that total control.
Well, if you think of the mainland China as a giant prison,
yeah, it is.
Then if you go into the prison to start a business,
you get the McDonald's concession in the prison, right?
Exactly. So if you end up for some reason or another being singled out by the CCP in this giant country that's really a prison, for whatever reason, then you go into the prison inside the prison.
Well, think about this. Think about the story. Shera, right? His name is Stephen Shera, told us last week. And when the U.S. Embassy staff visited him in the jail, they couldn't do much. They just say, hey, we couldn't help you.
Are you there?
Right?
Yeah, I think Billy's checking in on a guest right now.
I think we have. I'm just going to go put our guest, who I think our guest. It looks like I have the guest because I'm getting some back call. Anna, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, terrific.
Yes. Hi.
Terrific. Wow, technology works. Anna is joining us all the way from
somewhere in Europe.
And our guest today is Anna Chen. Why don't you, Michael, introduce her? You set the guest up.
I would be honored to introduce Anna. Anna is the co-author of an article, a post in the Gateway Pundit website. Now, Gateway Pundit has been following the coronavirus story since the beginning with what seems to be very accurate information.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the frequent posters is Dr. Lawrence Sellin. And I had the opportunity to speak with Dr. Sellin, and he told the most amazing story. Now, Dr. Sellin, let me start with his bio before I introduce Anna. Dr. Sellin is a was a PhD research physiologist at the U.S. Army Medical Research Institute of Infectious Diseases at Fort Detrick, Maryland. So here is a man who was studying these things minutely, as it were. He's also a medical researcher, a pharmaceutical manufacturer, and administrator at the National Science Foundation and the National Institutes of Health, and an international businessman. He's a retired colonel in the Army. And Dr. Sellin has been one of those few researchers who's been on the job digging into the COVID story and telling things that are happening, like I said earlier, are never appearing in America's legacy media.
Mainstream press.
Mainstream press. Not there at all. And then just recently, very recently, he co-authored a story with Anna Chen, and listen to the title of this: China's next more dangerous bioweapon, and how the U.S. is helping them build it. And so I reached out to Dr. Sellin, can you join us live? And he said, I can't join you live, but Anna will.
Wow.
And Anna is with us today. Anna is an independent COVID-19 investigator. She was born in China, and she is currently based in Europe. She used to work in the pharmaceutical industry in both China and Europe, and due to her business network of institutes and hospitals in China, both military and civilian ones, she has knowledge of the patterns of CCP and military-civilian fusion in related fields. Right now she is revealing the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, People's Liberation Army bioweapon program, and the infiltration of the United States of America with Dr. Lawrence Sellin on the Gateway Pundit. So, my goodness, Anna, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Mr. Olsen. I'm very happy to join this show today. And hello, everyone. I'm Anna.
Hi, good to have you with us. Thank you.
Pleased to have you with us, Anna. So, I'll start off with a very simple question. How did two very reasonable people like Dr. Lawrence Sellin and Anna Chen become so focused on the Chinese Communist Party's bioweapons program? How did you come to take on this mission?
Well, I would like to say, according to the COVID-19 pandemic, and there are a lot of disinformation about this pandemic and the coronavirus, I think a lot of people have noticed that this virus has some abnormal, features, and people should dig in and find out the truth.
And so you saw that those unusual features were not being reported, and so you decided to stand up on a soapbox and say there's something else going on here. I have to say that PLA and CCP and PLA, they know what they are doing, and they published most of their scientific works in Chinese and only in China. Then I started to translate some of their articles and posted them on Twitter. And then Dr. Sellin saw my Twitter, and then we started to connect. Good. So,
can I ask the obvious question that everybody look, when you publish something like this, it seems to me that you put yourself in danger, particularly in this particular situation with this particular country. Do you find yourself hiding?
Well, actually, I actually received some attacks from CCP. Yes, I put myself in danger, but I have to do this, and for some good reasons, I believe.
Wow. So, Anna, may I ask you a question? Your research and investigation is started from the original material they published in the medical journal, I think after the SARS.
After the SARS
virus.
Yes. Sorry, do you mind if you could repeat your questions? Sorry.
No, I say that your investigation was you said you translated some Chinese articles, maybe some they published in the medical journal that I remember it's about 2013 or something.
2015.
After the SARS.
I think Amy means that did you start your investigation from the Shi Zhenli's academic article that's published on Nature?
To be honest, I didn't focus on Shi Zhenli at the beginning. Because according to Dr. Li Mengyan's whistling on January 19th via Luda Media, she described very clearly that this virus, the backbone of this coronavirus, is uniquely owned by Chinese military PLA. So PLA will be the top target to dig in and investigate. Thank you.
Anna, so what kind of link that you have discovered during your investigation, through your investigation, and find the link between the Wuhan Institute of Virology and Chinese military?
From my side, it is very clear that to some extent, they share the same pathogens, and the people work in WIV, they still works for PLA. So to some extent, WIV is affiliated to PLA. That is the typical example of military-civilian fusion. Thank you.
So when you say fusion, what you're saying is that the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, and the PLA are really one organization.
I wouldn't say that.
Or at least working together then.
Yes, they're working together.
Let me try to answer that question.
Same personnel, maybe easier way to say.
No, it's not. Actually, back in 2015, Xi Jinping actually spoke to the Central Communist Party Committee and openly asked so-called military and civil fusion development. So basically, it's to develop technology, because the technology can be developed for two purposes: commercial use or military use. Sure. But that two kind of direction can benefit each other. That's what they call military and civil fusion.
Yes.
And so in the January of 2017, Chinese military officially established a Center Committee of Military Civil Fusion Committee, and so
both sides benefit from the research.
Yes, the same research. Okay. So and then Xi Jinping himself is the director of that committee.
Yes, and as I understand it, all innovations in science and in business are now shared with the CCP. So if you're Ford Motor Company and you develop some kind of new gizmo in China, that new gizmo, the technology behind that new gizmo is shared with both the CCP and the PLA.
Does it now belong to both the CCP and the PLA?
If you share it, it does.
Because that's what I think that's what Anna said a few minutes ago, if I heard her correctly, that the
Wuhan Institute of Virology, WIV,
owns the research.
I think,
or the result of the research.
No, actually, I think Anna said that the people working in that facility, some of them are army or military personnel. Right. Is that correct, Anna?
Yes, to some extent that's correct. There is a fact that in China, any institution, any organization, they can be transformed into a military ones if the PLA and the CCP wants.
So basically, the CCP controlled everything. Yeah.
So I have to ask about the research methodology here, because it seems to me that your collaboration
with Dr. Sellin.
With Dr. Sellin must have been extensive because, look, I'm a pretty good reporter myself, but there's some stuff I just don't understand. And so it would seem to me that the stuff you didn't understand, you would have to get the technical explanation for virology from the good doctor. Anna, did you have any trouble trying to figure out how to follow the research because of the fact of the subject is so hard to understand?
For me, that won't be a very big problem. I used to work in pharmaceuticals, so I have some basic knowledge about those biology. Even I don't have any PhD or medical doctor license. And the second point I would like to say is I would like to repeat that is most of their CCP and PLA's scientific research articles are published in Chinese. Mm-hmm. So for me, there won't be a problem to understand what they are doing and what they are trying to do.
Do you have trouble accessing some of the information sources in China, or have the Chinese have they shut down some of the sources of information so that you can't get to them?
Oh, wow, that is a very nice question. Indeed, since last year, they have started to withdraw or deleted most of their articles and their research achievements. Well, I believe they are trying to hide something that they want people to find out.
Okay.
Anna, do you know what they're trying to hide?
Of course, the secrets. They don't want people to know their bioweapon program. And we don't know how many viruses they have already done, or they are doing right now, or they are trying to do in the future. So it is very urgent situation of all of us to do something.
Now, I read your article, that article you co-author with Dr. Lawrence Sellin. In the article, you mentioned that the Chinese military's biochemical warfare program is currently developing, at least besides coronavirus, there are two other virus. You named them. One is flavivirus, another one is Zika virus. Would you tell us a little more detail about these two viruses?
Oh yes, of course. Flaviviruses, it's a general groups of some viruses. Zika virus is including in the group of flaviviruses. At the beginning of our articles, we mentioned about a very important PLA senior military officer, that's General Ray Yang from Institute of Microbiology and Epidemiology. affiliated to Academic of Military Medical Science, which is AMMS. Then we found Rafe Yang published an article in a Chinese journal in 2010 with 3 other senior PLA officers from other 3 military medical universities, which are all the top ones in China. And in their article, they specially emphasized on flaviviruses and its envelope protein that contains many single amino acids that affect viral neurovirulence and neuroinvasiveness. This is a very important point, that the envelope protein of the COVID-19 virus is believed to be related to its effect on the central nervous system. For example, the early notes of taste and smell. So we suggested that the COVID-19 might be a test of concept for future bioweapons. Well, flaviviruses are far more dangerous attacking the central nervous system. They include yellow fever, a Japanese encephalitis, Western
encephalitis, encephaly.
Yes.
The brain. It's the one that attacks the brain.
Okay, we got it. Yes.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you. Western Nile and dengue fever and Zika virus. Well, Zika virus can infect pregnant women via mosquitoes and cause severe brain damage in their babies. So flaviviruses are usually only transmitted by mosquitoes or other insects, and are disease not common in the United States. However, PLA scientists have already begun studies on possible human-to-human transmission of Zika virus. In the meantime, they did research on making native Zika viruses more infectious and combining Zika virus with other viruses.
Well,
wow, that's
Anna,
really scary.
At the beginning of your article, you make the unequivocal statement, you and Dr. Sellin, that the CCP and the PLA have genetically engineered COVID-19 with multiple pathological effects way beyond natural ones that allow for the pre-adaption of human infection. So you're saying that this COVID-19 was manufactured by the CCP and the PLA? And how did you come to that conclusion? Because I think Dr. Anthony Fauci still thinks it came from bat soup. So how did you come to this conclusion?
Well, about this part, Dr. Sellin has his expertise on the biology and more scientific background. And for me, my part is working on the military personnel to find more network among them. And well, what I can tell is on this part about the COVID-19, yes, according to Dr. Nimon Yan's report, 3 reports, it is very clear that this COVID-19 coronavirus has been engineered in the lab according to some hard evidence like a furring site and like what we just discussed before about the envelope protein. Mm-hmm. Those two are the key evidence to prove that COVID-19 has been engineered in the lab.
Mm-hmm. Dr. Sellin described it to me in terms like if you saw somebody walking down the street with a poodle on a leash and you saw that the poodle had the head of an alligator, you wouldn't think it was natural at all. you would look at it and go, somebody did something to that poodle. Mm-hmm. It wasn't nature. What was it?
The structure doesn't look like natural.
Yeah, the structure is not natural. Right. And so when
I've read that too.
When you look at the structure of the COVID-19, it just is not a natural evolution. And so therefore somebody had to re-engineer it. And you and Dr. Sellin are pointing to the CCP and the PLA, correct?
Yes.
Wow.
No wonder she's had attacks already.
Okay.
Right, Anna? I mean, obviously the CCP can't be too happy with you putting two and two together.
Now, there's something else that came out relating to this thread that we're talking on today. And this is a 2003 speech by Comrade Zhi Haotian, who is the vice chairman of China's military commission. This was obtained by Epoch Times back in 2005. So listen to this, ladies and gentlemen. Only by using Comrade Haotian says, only by using non-destructive weapons that can kill many people will we be able to reserve America for ourselves. There has been rapid development of modern biological technology and new bioweapons that have been invented one after the other. Of course, we have not been idle. In the past years, we have seized the opportunity to master weapons of this kind. We are capable of achieving our purpose of cleaning up America all of a sudden.
Can I ask something? China is famous for its propaganda. Could this be propaganda instead of stating facts about what they're planning? Could it be more boasting? You tell me.
Well, let's ask Anna.
Anna, what do you think?
Well, my understanding about this is that, this is a fact that CCP is very clear about their own situation, which is that they are not able to compete with America under regular international rules and challenge the USA on the regular battlefield forever. So they develop these bioweapons or start unrestricted warfare to harm and attack civilians without awareness in order to reach their political and economic goals.
Well, there's a direct answer to that question.
So,
not propaganda. Statement of what their plan is.
Right. If this coronavirus, was a part of the China's biochemical warfare program, so based on your investigation, do you think this virus was purposely leaked out, or it was just accidentally leaked out?
Well, thank you for your question. And before I beginning, I would like to correct one thing. That it is not a biochemical weapons. It is unrestricted bioweapons. There is something different on the definition of these two concepts. Mm-hmm. Yes. The first I would like to recommend a book. It is entitled Unnatural Origin of Such and Genetic Weapons Based on Artificial Human Infectious Viruses. It's a very long title. One of the chief editor is De Zhongxu, Major General of PLA. Well, in his book, I would like to quote, there is a sentence which is very clear about their bioweapon warfare. Well, it is said, although warfare or military actions remain an important and often the last option in reaching a political goal, they are too obvious, exposed completely under the sun, and therefore prone to be condemned by the other countries and the international community. In that case, a contemporary genetic weapon, which is the weapon they are doing right now, its usage is deceiving and hard to prove. And they are doing this not for military purposes, but for causing terror and gaining political and strategic advance regionally or internationally. And I would like to go, and this is what they are intention to do, and why they start the bio warfare. And then about the release, the deliberate releasing, I would like to say, according to Dr. Li Wenyan's third report, community test is a key step of developing a bioweapon. First, to observe the bioweapon's effect on its intended target, human. The second, to further adapt the virus in humans and the environment, and thereby give the virus a more natural look. So now what we can see from right now is that they are developing bioweapon. So community test is a key step in their program. So no matter what they are trying to do, if they want to develop a bioweapon, deliberate release will be a behavior in their program. I hope I explained this very clear.
Oh, it was very clear.
And when I spoke with Dr. Sellin, I asked him, do you think the Corona-19 virus leaked from the Wuhan Virology Institute? And he said, no, it didn't leak. It was released.
Mm-hmm. So, Anna, you think that it was released for the purpose of a community test? Is that right?
Well, for what I investigate and what I look in, personally view is that I believe it is the deliberate releasing of COVID-19.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got that.
The PLA defines the effectiveness of bioweapons in these terms. One, it is significantly virulent and can cause large-scale casualties.
Oh, there's no doubt about that.
It is highly contagious and transmits easily, often through respiratory routes in the form of aerosols. The most dangerous scenario would be one that allows for human-to-human transmission. And third, it is relatively resistant to environmental changes, can sustain transportation, and is capable of supporting targeted military release. That's the definition of an effective bioweapon from the CCP and PLA, actually.
Anna, we're running out of time for our first hour. Are you able to stay longer than this hour, or do you have to leave?
No, she can't leave.
She can't leave?
No, she can't leave.
Can you stay with us, Anna?
Yes, of course. Yes, I would love to.
All right. I'm going to have to take our first... this is commercial radio, Anna, so we have to take a break and pay for the airtime. We will be back in just a moment on China Uber Alice. Stay tuned.
Right now with the delicious ramen and sushi you'll find waiting for you at Kaito. Easy in and out location in the Capitola Mall food court. Special orders welcome. Fresh, delicious, and oh so good.
This is Koji. I'm looking forward to seeing you at my restaurant Kaito. It's summer in Santa Cruz, and Ace Hardware is here for you. You know our stores at 849 Almar Avenue and 1214 Soquel Avenue. Now check out our big new store at 201 Front Street. All the brands you love: Weber, Traeger, Big Green Egg, Steel Outdoor Power, gas, battery, or electric, and service and repair for steel tools. We'll even fix your window screens. And watch for our grand opening events August 21st and 22nd. Ace is the place in Santa Cruz.
Hi, I'm Deidre Bennett, and I am the owner of Zinnia's Gift Boutique in Scotts Valley, California. We pick our merchandise based on what's current trend as well as what speaks to our heart. We carry a lot of children's clothing, a lot of newborn, great gifting for baby showers, and we try to get up into those T sizes. Our biggest struggle being space. You know, I tease all the time, I need to buy the airspace above me because I have so many wonderful products I want to showcase in the store, and I'm limited by my 4 walls. When you go into Zinnia's, there are gifts to be had and treasures everywhere. There's a little something for everyone, and I tease my customers, if you don't know what you want and you're looking around, perhaps it's going to fall out at you, and then you'll know it's the perfect gift. Zinnia's is located at 219C Mount Herman Road in the Graham Plaza next to Starbucks. Our number is 831-430-9466, and follow us on Facebook and Instagram at zinniasgiftboutique.com.
Cammie Corvin is the executive producer for the Think Local First radio show. Join Cammie each Saturday from 2 to 4 as she hosts what is going on in our community for local businesses and local issues. Think Local First is brought to you by Bruno's Bar and Grill in Scotts Valley, Togo's in Scotts Valley, Capitola and Watsonville, Tremonti Italian Restaurant in Santa Cruz, and Kissed by an Angel. Think Local First every Saturday on AM 1080 or KSCO.com. Do you need a professional roofing contractor? Look no further. When prompt service, quality workmanship, value, and integrity are important factors to your roofing project, Primo Roofing is the contractor of choice. Primo is a family-operated business, and they are determined to apply those family values to the way they handle each and every one of their roofing customers. No job is too big or too small, whether it's a hole in the roof or a whole new roof. Primo Roofing is the only name you need to remember. Call Primo Roofing or visit their website. They'd be happy to provide you with a Primo Roofing experience. Satisfy your hunger with a fresh, prepared, twice-daily grab-and-go sushi you'll find waiting for you at Sushi Market Sprouts, 2 blocks from the beach at 300 7th Avenue in Santa Cruz. Fresh, delicious, and oh so good.
Hello, I'm Junko, and I look forward to serving you at the Sushi Market Sprouts.
This is AM 1080 KSCO Santa Cruz, and you're listening to China Uber Alice. We have as our guest today a reporter who has done some scary, and I mean scary, reporting. Anna Chen will stay with us for the second hour of China Uber Alice today. If you want to find out more about what we're talking about, we have several articles posted about this. Please go to our website, ChinaUberAlice.com. There's a lot of background material that you might want to check out, even if you're just joining us on the replay of the hour. I want to remind you that we have one more hour. Anna will stay with us, and so will Michael Olsen. We'll be back on the second hour of China Uber Alice in just a moment. My name is Bill Graff. I'm here with Amy Howe, my regular guest, and, of course, Nan Su, who's also one of our regular guests, and we will be right back after this news update from our national network. This is KSCO Santa Cruz.
Good afternoon, I'm Susan Simon with your King of the Hill traffic and weather update. The traffic on Highway 17 still moving fairly reasonably for this afternoon. However, traffic on Highway 1 is slow in the SoCal area. Traffic on southbound Highway 1 is slow moving from the Fishhook down to 41st Avenue, in fact, and again down near Carmel. Highway 68 has some slow spots around Highway 218 as well as west of Boots Road and the south end of Salinas. Southbound Highway 101 is slow south of the Coyote Creek Golf Course and again just south of Gilroy. Weather for today, mostly sunny as you've been seeing, highs in the 70s and 80s, west-northwest wind 5 to 15 miles per hour, becoming southeast with gusts up to 22 miles per hour. Tonight, east wind 5 to 7 miles per hour, becoming calm in the evening with lows in the 60s. Boaters forecast west winds 10 to 15 knots, increasing to 15 to 25 knots with gusts up to 35 knots. Wind waves 2 to 3 feet, south swell around 2 feet at 12 seconds. The time now, 6 minutes after 3 p.m., and that means it's time for the second hour of the China Uber Alice Show with Nan Su, Amy Howe, Bill Graff, Michael Olsen, and whoever else they come up with.
China Uber Alice is brought to you in part by Sushi Market Sprouts on 7th in Santa Cruz and Kaito in the Capitola Mall Food Court. Treat yourself to the finest Japanese cuisine you'll find anywhere with fresh sushi to go and delicious ramen dinners. Sushi Market Sprouts and Kaito. Yum!
And before we get into the second hour of China Uber Alice for today, I will tell you that I have recently tasted the ramen from Kaito, and it is to die for. And I've eaten a lot of ramen in my life. It's very good. Anyway, if you want to check that out, that's something you come recommended from me. Welcome to the second hour of China Uber Alice. I'm Bill Graff. I'm here, of course, with Nan Su, the senior reporter from the Epic Times that we check in with every week. Amy Howe, a survivor of the re-education camps from the Chinese Cultural Revolution under Chairman Mao. Michael Olsen, who was educated at the University of California, Santa Cruz, studying Chinese.
That's just like being in a re-education camp in China.
And, of course, our guest, who is joining us from Europe on the magic of the broadcast connection called Opal. Anna is with us today.
Anna Chen.
Anna Chen, who has done some... Look, I believe I can say this as a fellow who made his living as a reporter for many years. Anna has come up with some very scary reporting.
Well, Anna's the co-author with Dr. Lawrence Sellin of an article that appeared, a post that appeared in the GatewayPundit.com website that has been following the evolution of the COVID story since the very beginning. So it kind of is what attracted me to the Gateway Pundit. It's one source of very interesting information.
And also, from what I understand, very accurate.
It's very accurate from everything I see. Now, Anna and Dr. Sellin co-authored a piece that was titled China's Next More Dangerous Bioweapon and How the U.S. is Helping Them Build It. And right at the top of the article, they state in unequivocal terms that the CCP and the PLA genetically engineered COVID-19 with multiple pathological effects that allow it for pre-adaptation to human beings. So unequivocal. So we want to ask Anna how she and Dr. Sellin came up with a conclusion that seems to be diametrically opposed to the conclusion made by the World Health Organization and the CDC, and it seems the entire federal government. How did you come up with that conclusion, Anna?
Well, do you mind if you could repeat your questions? Thank you.
Yes. How did you come up with a conclusion that COVID-19 was deliberately manufactured and released by the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, and the People's Liberation Army.
When it's that conclusion was diametrically different than what the World Health Organization said was the origin of the virus.
Well, what I can tell is that at the first, they have already done a lot of gain of function on the virus. I mean, the CCP and the PLA, they done a massive gain of function of multiple viruses in China. And second, as we talking, well, in the previous hour, they wrote their plan, I mean, their strategies in their test book. I mean, the book that I mentioned about the unnatural origin of source and genetic weapons based on the artificial human infectious viruses. They done massive research on the animals' pathogens to modify the engineered viruses to have a nature look. I mean, this is intense. This is a potential. I mean, this is something that they intend to do. And the last one is the community test. That, according to Dr. Neiman Yan's third report, that it is a very key step among the process of developing a bioweapon. If they want to have a successful and functional bioweapon, they need to do a community test and deliberately releasing will be an action. I mean, be a behavior among the whole process.
So they deliberately released COVID-19 to test what the reaction would be like here in the United States, but throughout the world.
And also how the virus would actually propagate and change, and I mean, they're looking at a whole bunch of different things.
But this, you suggest, is just a test run?
You mean the virus right now?
Yes. Do you think COVID-19 is simply a test for something that's coming in the future?
Due to our this recent article, they have doing some specific research on the envelope protein, and which have something similar to the COVID-19 coronavirus. So we may suggest that they are doing more research and doing more developing work on the bioweapon, and I believe, personally I believe that CCP have numerous viruses which have been done in lab to develop to be a successful bioweapons. So in the future, there must be. I think it must be more dangerous bioweapons happen.
Wow. So the after the findings published, is any reaction from WHO or CDC? After your findings and conclusions,
have you gotten any blowback from the WHO or the National Institutes of Health or anybody like that?
No, I don't think so.
No. Go ahead.
Sorry, please.
Yeah. After you. Yeah, please.
No problem. I haven't say anything. No problem at all.
Okay. Yeah. Based on the article that you co-author with Dr. Lawrence Sellin, a lot of this research that's done in the Chinese institutions in China are actually being helped by the U.S. institutions in the same field. How could that happen? Would you tell us a little more details on those things?
Oh yes, of course. As we describe in the articles. So basically, there are CCP's massive bioweapon programs operates at 3 levels. The level 1 is a co-secret military level composed of military research centers and hospitals. Level 2, Chinese universities and civilian research centers like the Wuhan Institute of Virology. And it is a fact that there is no difference between military and civilian research organizations. And level 3, the last level, CCP and PLA scientists in the U.S. conducting ongoing research with colleagues in China. And I believe this is the level that I found of CCP PLA massive infiltration in the U.S. And me and Dr. Sellin called this scientific Chen migration. It is obvious that U.S. virus research laboratories have become functioning subsidiaries of China's biowarfare program.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Say that again. Yeah. Functioning subsidiaries of China's
biowarfare program.
Wow.
So say what Anna Chen is telling us is that our universities are now functioning as subsidiaries of the People's Liberation Army and the Chinese Communist Party's bioweapons program.
Yes.
Anna, let's go back to what you said about chain migration. And you mentioned that, I think it was in the 1990s, China began a tremendous outreach to the United States. It sent students to the United States, and there are millions of students now. It sent money to researchers, and now it's sending scientists. Now you talk about chain migration, so let's talk a little bit about how that works, so people can understand how China could turn our research institutions and our universities into subsidiaries of the People's Liberation Army. So a chain migration, how does that work?
Yes, no problem. It is a scientific chain migration. Well, in our article, we talk about that and with some details. So, for example, once the previous group of CCP and PLA scientists settled in the U.S. labs, they invite their colleagues who now have created a critical mass of CCP PLA scientists in the U.S., collaborating with scientists and researchers in China, who linked to its biowarfare program, supplemented with U.S. skills, knowledge, and taxpayers' money. And there's another, it's a real example that I found among the investigation. It is a professor in the military medical university. He is also a guest professor of a civilian university. Then he applied to a university in the USA with his civilian affiliation to be a visiting scholar in the USA. And the U.S. government and the university in the United States have no way, to know his military background. And it is very normal that most of the military officers in the military scientific institutions, they have multiple affiliations. Thank you.
Now, that explains how the Chinese scientists get here, and by chain migration, one comes, invites their friends, and soon it's kind of like how restaurants get filled up with workers from south of the border when it gets right down to it. But let's go back a little bit and talk about researchers themselves. Now, have you heard of a program called the 1,000 Talents?
Yes, I heard about that a lot.
And how does that work?
Well, there are numerous of this kind of talent program in China, run by CCP or by PLA. Well, several years ago, the talents, there's like 1,000 or 100 talent program run by the government, by the CCP, the central government. But right now, the programs have been issued by the local governments. For example, like the Shanghai or Beijing, this kind of city specifically, because they want to hide. So some networks and connection among the military and the civilian situations.
So with respect to these the 1,000 talents, the idea is to develop a relationship with researchers in which the researchers get money from the Chinese government that is funneled through a city like Shanghai or something like that. But we also understand that those researchers must sign a secret contract with the CCP that forbids them from revealing the fact that they're getting money from China to do their research. And the other thing we understand is that the 1,000 talents are now 60,000 talents that the Chinese government has purchased here in the United States and around the world. So nearly every research that is critical to business and defense and health and medicine and everything has been purchased. Is that am I crazy, Anna?
Well, I heard about that, but I need to look into more to find some hard evidence, and then I can comment.
Spoken like a true reporter.
Good.
Anna, let me ask you this. Let me go back to the whole idea that American let me start again. It's incredulous to me that we have not checked out. I mean, look, when you get a job anywhere in the United States, they check your resume. You know what I mean? How is it that these Chinese
scientists, researchers,
and
students,
academics haven't had their credentials checked by the United States government before they're hired? I don't quite. Do the Chinese hide their military affiliations that well?
Yes. Because this is they have their confidential system to keep the secrets.
I see. So not even our spies, our CIA and our FBI and those people, they're not good enough to crack the secrets?
Well, I don't know about that.
think the answer is no.
Only Anna Chen knows for sure.
Yeah.
No.
That's probably an unfair question, but it just seems to me like we're so good at at fielding this sort of thing in other aspects of our own government. I just don't understand how this 60,000 people could be hidden around the world.
Let me ask Anna a very simple question.
Yes.
Anna, did the United States help fund the development of China's COVID-19 coronavirus?
Wow, this is a very tough question. In my opinion, I would like to say in this way: America is a very great country, and because of its openness, the freedom, and the decency, I think America is very kind to the people all around the world, and they are very open on the science, and America is a country which would love to share the technologies and all the knowledges, and that's the point that CCP takes advantage of. And I don't think America supports the CCP's biowarfare program. I think what I believe is that CCP take advantage of American freedom and openness to develop their own program, a biowarfare program.
Well, it wouldn't have been the first time we've been taken advantage of because we've tried to do the right thing around the world. Certainly. Anna, that's a very diplomatic answer. I appreciate that. We have several folks who would like to speak on the program. Your comments and your conclusions have lit our switchboard up like a Christmas tree. We're going to take some calls. Is that all right with you?
Oh, yes, of course.
Okay, so let's go to let's see. Rob in Rio Del Mar has been on the longest. If I push the right button, Rob, you're on China Uber Alice.
Sounds like you pushed the right button.
All right. What's your question?
Well, it wasn't really a question. Well, I guess there's a question. I've had a theory that COVID-19 was intentionally released and brought here right after the Chinese New Year, when all the students were coming back from China, because the younger people weren't really affected by it, right? So they don't say anything about it. Then later, they have the release that they're testing it with in China, and they have some odd. It seems to me they had some odd camera perspectives of these leaked videos going out over the internet. Like, it seems to me like that person's right out and wide open, filming the Chinese soldiers taking away people. So that didn't seem right. So what she was saying kind of falls into that theory, I think.
Well, thank you. You're coming in a little rougher than.
Rob, your phone is dropping out. I didn't catch all of that last. Was there a question there?
Well, yeah, I was telling you the theory that I had that COVID-19 came over with the kids right after the Chinese New Year. I know many people that were very sick at the beginning of the year, that year, before it was, then released. She says they had to do a release inside China, right? Or release somewhere to test it. Maybe they released it on purpose in Wuhan to film it and build up the hysteria over it. What do you think of that?
Well, let's ask Anna.
Thank you for your call, by the way.
Anna, when do you think the COVID-19 was released? If it was released or leaked? Or
when did it get out, do you think?
Yeah. Well, about this point, what I heard that there are two sceneries on this point. The first one is the CCP deliberately released the COVID-19 in October 2019. in a war game, in Wuhan at that time. And then...
Sorry about that.
No problem.
October of 2019.
During the war games.
Yes, in Wuhan. And that is the beginning point of this pandemic. And there is a second saying about that is, yes, just like the gentleman said, it's in the Spring Festival in Wuhan. Right now, what I believe is that we need more hard evidence on that. But there is a question on the CCP's motivation. Why they hide, why they cover up the truth of this pandemic, why they destroy the samples at the early stage of COVID-19, and why the CCP and PLA is not welcoming the world society to have an independent and transparent investigation. And now, if we think about these three questions, it is very reasonable to think about their motivations, why they hide that.
And that would kind of point to the whole notion of a community test then.
Right. We have another call, this one from Al, who is calling from Santa Cruz. Al, you're on KSCO. Thanks for waiting for so long.
Hi, Anna. You're doing some very important and brave work here.
Thank you so much.
This can have really wide implications, and I would hope that this show would go viral on the Internet. I have a question for you, though, because, you know, most pathological organisms, certain groups are more susceptible to them because of lifestyle, environment, age, sex, you know, race, and specifically genetic makeup. And since the CCP is so involved in advanced artificial intelligence and they process genealogical data for a lot of these Western companies that can trace your ancestry, did you find any evidence of targeted infectious agents? So specifically, if they had genetic information on the makeup in the U.S., whether it was, you know, Western Europeans or Latinos or black people or anybody like that, African Americans, have you come across anything like that?
Oh, well, thank you for your question. Well, this is a very important one. What I can find among their news and research works, they are trying to collect data, genetic data all over the world, but I don't know if they have already developed a successful genetic bioweapon or genetic products, right now. So I don't know about that. But what I know is that they are trying to collect genetic data all over the world.
Anyway, it's just, all the pieces are there for a very, very dangerous development of, targeted, genetically guided, pathological agents, and that's a real concern.
Very good question, Al. Unfortunately, there's not enough evidence, at least not Anna hasn't come up with it yet, but if anybody can, she probably can eventually come up to find out if they are actually targeting certain genetic traits or certain genetic...
Why would they be collecting genetic data from all over the world if not?
Well, you could, ostensibly say that it was for pharmacological development, which would make sense.
But as we've learned, there is a fusion here between the CCP and the military and whatever is developed for pharmacological purposes.
Well, let me help Anna out here. Anna came up with the correct response, I think, as a reporter. When she does not know the evidence, she cannot directly put them together. She's not going to say she's put that directly together.
She's not a news talk host.
She's a real reporter, Al. Thank you for the call.
I understand that, but I would like her to keep an eye out for that sort of development because it's a real
yes,
possibility.
Of course.
And it's
I believe
very,
she's
very
doing
scary.
that already. I'm almost positive.
I have already written down your questions, and I would love to look into it and find more evidence.
And, I would like to say, too, that Wuhan lab was constructed with the aid of the French government. And
several governments, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I know at one point that Hillary Clinton had actually written a letter to the French saying, what are you doing constructing an advanced, biological facility like that? Because it could be used for bioweapons like this.
Yeah.
So, the West is definitely responsible for giving them so much of our technology and aid. I mean, it made sense, though, because, there are so many naturally derived pathological agents that
sure.
out of China because of their, living in close proximity to, fowl and pork and whatever else.
Al, we appreciate the call. Thanks for waiting so long. We've got a whole board here I got to get through.
Okay, thanks.
All right, let's move on. Who else has been on it forever and a day? John in Soquel has, let's see if I push the right button here. I have got, John, I think that's you, right?
Yes, it is, yes. Anna, thank you so much for your courage. This is huge, what you're bringing to light.
Thank you so much, Joe.
Yes. I want to ask in this day and age when people see capitalism and consider it as an existential threat to the earth, do you see any U.S. officials involved in this program and the nefarious intents of this program?
Sorry, could you please be more? Yeah.
Do you have any indication there are U.S. officials that are aware of the CCP's intentions and are willfully promoting this? Very difficult to comment on, I guess.
I think what he's asking you is, do you know of any United States officials who knew about the nefarious motives of the CCP and has actively helped them?
Well, I don't know. I know few about that, but I would love to look into that.
Another question for her to ponder.
Yes, that would be interesting to know. And thank you so much for letting me ask that.
With respect to that, what is the relationship with Dr. Anthony Fauci and the Wuhan Virology Institute?
Well, I think only Dr. Fauci will know about that.
I'm telling you guys, I'm a reporter myself, and Anna is answering these questions the correct way. If she can't directly tie them together, she's not going to do it publicly. Hey, John, thank you for the call. We appreciate that. Let's see. Let's take another call. Who's been on the longest? That would be Terry. Colonel Terry, you're on China Uber Alice.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. I'll be brief. Miss Chen, I must compliment you highly on your obvious courage, intelligence, and competence at the research you've done. Also, your English is superb.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So nice to hear that.
Okay. And compliment your colleague as well. Most importantly, Billy, you should let everyone know at least twice how and where we can get a copy of their article, please, before you sign off.
I was going to ask her that, give her a little time to tell us about that. In fact, Anna, why don't you do that right now? Anna, tell us how we can read you and the Good Doctor's article. Where can we find that?
We publish our articles on the Gateway Pundit, and if you research Dr. Lawrence Sellin's name or my name, you can find our articles.
All right, great. Thank you for reminding me about that, Terry. I appreciate it.
And Billy, I also just sent you an email a few minutes ago. I'd like you to read a portion or glance at it if you got them, just a few lines.
I have to bring the email up, and that means my phone is in the other studio.
All right, then don't do it.
All right.
I complimented her. I suggested that you repeat this program on a Saturday special, and that MZ have both her and Miss Dr. Sellin interviewed on a Saturday special, or you do that jointly in a program.
Okay, we'll see what we can do about that. Anyway, thank you, Terry. We appreciate the call.
Okay, I wish you every success, Miss Chen. Keep up your great work.
Thank you so much, Terry. Thank you. Have a good day.
Okay, let's go to Marcia. Marcia.
Marsha.
Hello, Marcia.
Hello, Billy. And everyone there. You've all come together to mean so much to all of us. We're just at the end of our chairs, sitting, waiting for the next information. What I'm wondering is, just to put it into a simple way, how do the bad guys keep from dying? And is it really contagious, or is it more targeted? Because how do the good guys die and the bad guys not?
That's a great
question. Maybe let me help you, Anna.
Let Anna take that one.
All right, go ahead.
Anna, if you're going to release something like this in a community experiment, how do you keep the good guys from dying along with the bad guys?
The bad guys are dying. I hope to.
Thank you, Marcia. This is a very difficult question. I would like to say that there is someone, seems at any stage of pandemic, Dr. Neiman Yan, she's a hero. She stands up and tell the world the truth about this pandemic. I believe, and I don't have any religion, but I believe in God, that if we do things for good reasons and for good things, I believe we will get saved from that.
Wonderful.
That's as good a question, answer to that question as any.
Stay strong.
Yeah.
Stay strong. Thank you so much.
Marcia, thank you for the call.
Thank you, Billy.
All right, I'm going to take Dick's call, but I believe I have to bring it up on the screen here because he's down on one of the other lines that doesn't normally appear. Let's see if I can do this without losing the call. Maybe I can't do it. Okay, let's try to get Dick on by doing this. Dick, can you hear me?
Yeah. Hey, your guest has so much courage. I'm just taken back by it.
As are we, by the way.
She said that she answered that question very politically about if she wanted to name Fauci or anybody else too. That was very smart. She might be afraid of the CIA more than the CCP. I don't know, but let me just interject one thing from a previous show. She said something very interesting. She said China wants to use a bioweapon so that they can have the United States. Okay, that's what I want to talk about, because General Spaulding 2 weeks ago said that once again, I'll repeat myself a little here, but I got to say it. Our electrical grid, which 85% of it is the government's dependent on, including the military, is not protected, is not hardened, and to quote him directly, he said the entire U.S. society is vulnerable. Okay, so we're talking about the same thing here. The EMP, what it does is it knocks out all electronics across the United States with a certain kind of bomb, released, like I said, they have satellites over our country at a certain height, and this will leave, it's the same thing as a bioweapon. It'll leave the United States, they estimate 90% of the population will be gone, and China can just walk in. So they have a couple of opportunities here, and just to hog it a little more from Anna, she's just incredible. But I just want to say one more thing, and that is we had a $1.2 billion infrastructure, Section 40-101, preventing outages and enhancing resilience of the electrical grid. There's $5 billion in that infrastructure bill, and it will require all utilities to match 100%. That's it. So maybe I just gave everything away. Maybe the Chinese doesn't have to go through 2,700 pages now to get that. gave him a secret.
There you go. Let me throw something in here from the 2003 speech by Comrade Zhi Haotian. And he said, "We are capable of achieving our purpose of cleaning up America all of a sudden."
Yeah. Dick, your points are well taken, along with the comments that Anna's been giving and that Michael Olsen just pointed out. Thanks for the call. We appreciate
Anna, I love you.
You've made a lot of friends, Anna. I'll tell you what.
Thank you so much.
Courage is very infectious, I guess is the best way to put it. And you have shown so much courage in printing this article. It is amazing to all of us that you have so much courage. Let's check in with Angel in Salinas. Let's see here. Angel, there we go. You're on KSC.
Hello. I have always wanted to call into this program, and I want to tell you, this is the most important program. And of course, the Saturday afternoon special. We can't forget MC. But this is the most important show, and I think for America, this program and the two of you, ladies, have done the most brave and amazing work coming forward. You're true patriots of America, and we appreciate everything you're doing.
And the world.
I mean, and the world. You are so brave, and I pray that you stay safe. I want to ask you a question now. Anna?
Yes, I'm here.
I know that you can't answer this just yet, and you may be concerned about the American affiliates because we have people embedded in our government that are traitors, and we know this. But with Fauci, we need more investigation done, and I would go 50 years back if at all possible. This man is connected. I swear he reminds me of a Nazi experimenter. He is so embedded in this and with our government. Why, and you might think on this, why would he be involved in this and be lying to the American people? Are they holding him beholden that they will kill him or torture him or his family? Is he so embedded in it financially? This guy, we need to laser focus on this guy and who has gotten to him to be able to do this kind of thing with the Wuhan lab. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he went around the law to fund this when he was told not to by our Defense Department, by the DOD, not to do this, and he went around the law and did it anyway. Now, he was appointed under either Obama or the Clintons. I can't remember which one.
Well, I think he's been around. If I'm not mistaken, Anthony Fauci has been around through both Republican and Democratic administrations. He's been around for a long time.
Well, I'll tell you, I believe I had COVID in 2013 when I was attending UC Santa Cruz, and we have students from China and all over the world coming there. And when something goes through there, it turns truly into a pandemic. I lost my taste of my taste and my smell for about 2.5 weeks. I was so sick that the dean of students put me up into a motel room
to get you away from the rest of
my service dog.
Well, I'm glad you're doing better now. Listen, I have a full board of folks want to get on the show as well, Angel. Thanks for calling.
Absolutely, but please look into him.
Okay, well.
Yes, of course.
All right, she's writing down all the questions. All right, let's move on here. Who's next? This would be Mary in Santa Cruz. I pushed the right button. Mary in Santa Cruz. You're on KSCO. Thanks for waiting.
Hey, Billy, Michael, and everybody there, and Annie. I want to say the following. First of all, Billy, please do not presume you know the answer your guest will give. It's really important. And second, if we are going to listen to our government in the United States of America, and we're going to listen to Fauci and Biden, Trump, all of them, how do we know which of them is actually telling us the truth? And I want to hear your guess.
Good question. Anna, how do we know who's telling us the truth?
Well, thank you. This is okay. I would like to say in this way that, according to my experience, the truth the truth is always be found by you or by myself. Due to my experience on investigations, I believe what I seen. I don't believe what I watched or what I heard from someone else. I think the truth is around us, so we need to find it on ourselves. And about Dr. Fauci, there are a lot of people mentioned about this. From what I found is that I believe Dr. Fauci contributed to the CCP PLA biowarfare program directly and indirectly. However, Dr. Fauci might not know the full picture of the CCP PLA biowarfare program due to the findings and the corroborations. I think he didn't know the full picture of that. But it doesn't mean that he couldn't tell if this coronavirus is from the net or the others, because he has a scientific background. So, due to my experience from that, the truth must be found by ourselves. Thank you.
But wait a minute, please. I suspect that you know a lot more than what you are feeling safe with revealing. If Dr. Fauci was able to make a lot of money, a ton of money, billions of dollars of money, what would he have done?
Thank you, Mary.
Okay.
That one left us speechless.
Yeah, really. Thanks for the call. Well, money, like I've said many times on this program, you follow the money, you follow, the truth. That's, if you want to know what's going on, you follow the money.
Yeah. What would he have done if he had the opportunity to do it? And is this what he would have done?
We don't know, do we?
Let's get another call before we fall off a cliff here.
Okay, well, let's see. We got, who else? Nick in Royal Oaks. You're on China Uber Alice.
Hi, thank you. Buffy Sante Marie, she's a Native American folk artist. She's got a song called The Big One Gets Away. Oh, I'm skipping over that. She was more of a Canadian title because in America, corporations would not have her. And she has the song, The Big One Gets Away. And then one of the lyrics says, the bad guys don't get you, then the good guys will. I believe that a lot. But this virus clings to toxins. And the bad guys can be in front of you like that when they're driving, when they're the worst of all the vehicles. And they're just high and above in front of us. And then the people that are weighted down, they're very glutens. And so when the suspicion comes around, like it's an attitude adjustment, they get past me because I'm taking care of myself and I see something's wrong. People are being shut out and something's got to change. But I always get on these like dirty diesels and they're never made comfortable in front of me because those diesels are for big giant trucks, not the pickups. And the streets, the beautiful streets that they've been pouring onto, it's like they've been put on us. And it's terrible. I just thank you so much. And so far away, Buffy St. Marie is very subject.
Thanks for the call, Nick. We appreciate it.
I like Buffy St. Marie.
I do too, actually. So I guess one of the main conclusions we have come to on this program is the fact
that Anna scared us silly.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. Anna's reporting, and her courage are scary, both of them.
Because it's the truth.
Yeah,
he told her the truth.
There's one question, Anna, I'd like to ask. Do you think that the United States has any secrets left that the Chinese do not own already?
Could you please be more specific on this point?
It seems like we have been so subsumed by Chinese researchers and infiltrated. Do we have any secrets left?
They bought everything.
Do they have they bought everything? Or do you think we still have a secret left somewhere?
I think I'm not able to answer this, but I believe.
But you know what? Nobody denies being able to answer it better than Anna Chen, and we're so grateful that you did.
Thank you. But what I believe is that America can go through this process. I mean, CCP, they are not as strong as we thought.
Oh, that's comforting news.
Great.
Because when they started this unrestricted biowarfare, it means that they are not able to do any, to challenge or to start a regular war on the regular battlefield. That's why they started this biowarfare. So right now, there's no, I know that CCP has used the media and the propagandas to bluffing, to show that how strong they are, but they are not.
We are completely out of time. Anna, will you come back and visit us again on this program? We'd love to have you back again.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Once again, if you would give the name of where we can read your article and your other work.
Please visit the Gateway Pundit and search my name, and you will find my articles on that. Thank you.
And the article was titled "China's Next More Dangerous Bioweapon and How the U.S. is Helping Them Build It."
Thank you for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Satisfy your hunger with the fresh, prepared, twice-daily grab-and-go sushi you'll find waiting for you at Sushi Market Sprouts, 2 blocks from the beach at 300 7th Avenue in Santa Cruz. Fresh, delicious, and oh so good.
Hello, I'm Junko, and I look forward to serving you at the Sushi Market Sprouts.
When there's work to do, ground to break, earth to move, and a reputation to uphold, you need the durable Kubota RTVX. Built with half-ton capabilities, industry-exclusive heavy-duty features, and a cargo bed that easily transitions into a second row of seating. The RTVX is North America's #1 selling diesel utility vehicle. Visit your local Kubota dealer and test drive one today. Go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
C&N Tractors in Watsonville and Paso Robles makes it so easy to get a Kubota. Give us your tough jobs.
Do you need a professional roofing contractor? Look no further. When prompt service, quality workmanship, value, and integrity are important factors to your roofing project, Primo Roofing is the contractor of choice. Primo is a family-operated business, and they are determined to apply those family values to the way they handle each and every one of their roofing customers. No job is too big or too small, whether it's a hole in the roof or a whole new roof. Primo Roofing is the only name you need to remember. Call Primo Roofing or visit their website. They'd be happy to provide you with a Primo Roofing experience.
Cami Corvin is the executive producer for the Think Local First radio show. Join Cami each Saturday from 2 to 4 as she hosts what is going on in our community for local businesses and local issues. Think Local First is brought to you by Bruno's Bar and Grill in Scotts Valley, Togo's in Scotts Valley, Capitola and Watsonville, Tremonti Italian Restaurant in Santa Cruz, and Kissed by an Angel. Think Local First every Saturday on AM 1080 or KSCO.com.
Satisfy your hunger right now with the delicious ramen and sushi you'll find waiting for you at Kaito. Easy in and out location in the Capitola Mall food court. Special orders welcome. Fresh, delicious, and oh so good.
This is Koji. I'm looking forward to seeing you at my restaurant Kaito.
That's all the time we have. This is AM 1080 KSCO Santa Cruz. Join us next Thursday for another edition of China Uber Alice.